That's H3 stands for harass Hassan heavily. So I haven't talked about Ethan Klein in a few months now, almost like half of the year so far. It was like the beginning of 2026 was the last time I had talked about him in any sense. And, we might as well do some catch up considering all the recent developments between him and Denims, IDubbz, and even MoistCr1TiKaL getting in the mix, which is surprising, honestly. But, we're not really going to cover much about the MoistCr1TiKaL thing because I had my issues with it, but I don't think it should be the main focus of it. I'll even admit that if you checked my Twitter during the entire thing, I was being pretty reactionary in a sense. But I still think my concerns with MoistCr1TiKaL and his centrism, regardless if he's actually more leftist than he puts on, who gives a shit? He still comes off incredibly centrist to his audience. But I'm just gonna pull all that aside because that doesn't really matter. Because at the end of the day, there's only one real bad guy. Yeah, I would just say bad guy. He's incredibly bad. Literally just acts like a supervillain to anyone that he feels has wronged him. And that's Ethan Klein. He's just like, you're talking about how I'm crashing out, how I'm doing all these things for petty reasons. Well, you're an enemy now. And that's what happened with MoistCr1TiKaL, essentially, is that now that MoistCr1TiKaL did not react the way that Ethan wanted him to, he is now an enemy or whatever. Probably not gonna assume though, because the audience difference would probably be too much for him. It's too big of a name. There's nothing really to go after him for, I guess, but there's nothing to really go after IDubbz for either. With the Denims thing, along with Rogan and Caseytron, it's okay, fair use, even though it was blatantly just to target them. It's not like he actually cared about trying to protect his content. It was literally just to go after 3 women that he did not like. That's why he never went after XQC or Asmongold, even though XQC himself blatantly said that he did not react to the content nuke. He just watched it on stream and uploaded it. It's insane.
Yes. This is Force's analogy, but yes, it's also true. People said react this, react that. We don't hate Rex. It's lazy. I actually invented watching. I invented watching. People think reacting on stream. No, watching. I'm not reacting to this. I'm watching this. What about it?
He's taking his time to analyze. Well, anyway, my criticism isn't that he's watching. It's that he's watching terrorist propaganda. But yeah. It's a little different. But I hear your point. And listen, I respect it, man. I acknowledge you.
We hear you.
I acknowledge you as the king of this shit.
It's so blatant that he is picking and choosing who he is going after with these lawsuits just to silence his critics. But even though we did get a bit of an L in terms of the Caseytron stuff, we did get a bit of a W, not a complete one, but a bit of one when it came to the Denims case. I'll just read out the tweet. What a crazy 24 hours, man. The tentative ruling feels a little surreal. First, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported me, believed in me, and helped me get there. I could not have done any of this without all of you. For those who are unfamiliar, tentative rulings are sometimes published in advance of hearings in the interest of streamlining the hearing. The tentative ruling is the position of the court before the hearing, so the fact that the tentative ruling is to grant my motion for judgment is incredible news. The hearing was earlier today, and the judge has taken the matter under submission, and an official ruling will be issued. This was earlier in the month. I don't think we have any update if there's an official ruling, but again, having a tentative win is a good sign that things are going to go well. But after this, Ethan decided that he needed somebody else that he could probably get a W over, go after another victim, with this being IDubbz. So he was suing IDubbz, and this is because of a moment on IDubbz stream. It's not from this. This is just IDubbz talking about him getting sued. All that really matters is that when IDubbz was streaming, he brought up a comment by Destiny to talk about Ethan's hypocrisy when it comes to his targets, the people that he goes after, because he says that he's going after these people because, they've wronged him and they said terrible things about him, but he doesn't go after someone like Destiny who has said this. So he pulled up this comment right here from Destiny Quick daily reminder that Ethan from H3 is likely a pedo who has molested his own children. So yeah, that was the comment that was brought up on Ian's stream that Ethan is commenting on in this clip. I'll probably insert the clip to the actual stream and post.
It's okay. So I do want to say I don't agree with what's being said in this comment here. But I'm putting it on screen because I think it should be addressed because it's a big, bold accusation that's very fucked up.
But yeah, instead of going after Destiny, is going after Ian for defamation for bringing up the comment. And not even, oh, he brought up the comment because he agrees with it, or he, like, it's just like putting it out there. In the context of Ian bringing up the comment, he brought it up as a way of being like, why does Ethan not go after someone like Destiny, who has said infinitely worse things about him than like Denims, Brogan, or K-Strong, or Hassan, like any of these people? Why does he choose to only go after people who criticize him, but not with people who are kind of more on his side? Because a lot of these people that Ethan's going after are also people that Destiny doesn't like and his community regularly goes after. So yeah, it's just like blatant, I wouldn't say favoritism, it's blatant targeting. He doesn't actually care about people talking about him in a negative light when it's his allies, when it's people who he is ideologically closer to. But it is a problem when they're lefties who, you know, comment on the fact that he has been crashing out and that he is willing to whitewash a genocide, essentially. And this did lead Ian to apologizing. We won't be watching it, but like, yeah, he apologized. And here's the thing, I don't blame him for doing that. I honestly think that fighting it would have been good, like fighting back against it. But staying with Caseytron, sometimes the money is just too stacked on one side. Ethan obviously has a lot of money. I don't know what Ian's financial situation is. With Caseytron, it was very different because she had like family to take care of. I'm not gonna guess what's going on Ian's side, what led to this. It's fine. Like, I do think fighting against this stuff is important, but at the end of the day, you should defend yourself. You should protect, you know, your life if you can, you know, not get dragged into like debt and shit like that because of this stupid stuff. So IDubbz apologized to Ethan, and Ethan left a comment on the video saying, "Hi Ian, I appreciate the thoughtful apology. It means a lot. I instructed my attorneys to drop the lawsuit entirely." So literally all it did was take him to apologize, for Ethan to be like, you know what, maybe this isn't something to go after, because it never was. All Ethan was is for people to grovel in front of him. Like, go look at like the Caseytron statement that she was forced to make after the lawsuit, like after reaching a settlement. Like, it felt like a fucking hostage video because you could just tell that she was being forced to read all of this stuff, and it was just groveling. It was just like, I apologize to Ethan, I apologize to AB and Lena. He even had her apologize to Asmongold. It's so gross. But what came after the announcement that Ethan was going to sue IDubbz was obviously that MoistCr1TiKaL video where he talked about the whole situation. And one criticism I will get into with MoistCr1TiKaL before moving on when it came to this whole situation, he says in his 2 videos about it that he doesn't understand why people were mad at him for not covering this. Especially that's what he talks about in his 2nd video, which, another thing, a lot of his commentary on this was way too focused on, in the 1st video, way too focused on trying to be very centrist of it. Like, he was, you know, being critical of Ethan going after Ian, but he was also insanely critical of Ian even putting the comment up despite knowing the context. Like, he was just trying to prove a point. He wasn't supporting it. So, like, what's the issue? Like, yeah, apparently he had it on the screen for like 45 minutes, but I'm sure anyone who like went into the stream listening to what he said about what he was talking about in terms of the hypocrisy would understand he doesn't support that. That was just weird to me. And in the 2nd video, it focused way too much on Charlie trying to defend himself, of being like, oh, I'm just not on the internet all that much. That's why I wasn't aware of these lawsuits. I'm going to call bull, because like, this is something that Mike from PA pointed out that Charlie put in the video to kind of respond to. He is the internet guy. He like always responds to like internet stuff. You mean to tell me you didn't get an inkling of it? Now, in his defense, he says in the video that he only really hears about this stuff from like friends or, you know, people in the stream chat bringing it up. But I still think that, like, even then, unless you show us your fucking logs, like, of, you know, your chat logs of the stuff that your friends send you, I find it a little bit hard that you didn't even hear a little bit of this, especially when he even admits himself that these sort of lawsuits are very similar to the stuff that he typically covers when it comes to this sort of stuff, like when it comes to like fair use and, you know, these frivolous lawsuits and shit like that. So it's a little hard to believe that he just was completely unaware. I don't know. Like, I think he was just trying to save his own ass and use, oh, I'm just not on the internet all that much as a good excuse, until it turned into a situation where he felt like he needed to talk out about it. But that's just me. Again, I don't have any proof of that, but I don't know. It just seems a little weird that, like, you like, really, you had no inclination that this stuff was going on. It doesn't smell right, you know. It doesn't pass the smell test, honestly. But whatever. At least he's talking about it. That's fine. That's just my little criticism. But yeah, Moist talks about Ian suing IDubbz. Definitely, look, a big name talking about it. That's great. I support that. And despite my criticisms of it, despite anybody's criticism of it, in terms of like the pro Denims IDubbz side, you know, the anti H3I, or as Ethan would call us, the snark side, despite our criticisms of Charlie's coverage of it, again, good that he's doing it, great. Big names speaking out about the stuff, that's great. Even if it's not perfect, at least it draws more attention to the issue and people can, you know, come to their own conclusions. But what's always funny about this whole situation is that no matter our criticisms of people like MoistCr1TiKaL when they cover this stuff, if you're even a little bit critical of Ethan, they will see you as an enemy. And so here are some clips where Ethan is trying to defend against Charlie's points that even though he believes that what Ian did was wrong, he should still be going after Destiny over Ian if he wants to go after a defamation suit. Like, the fact that he's going after the guy who just brought up the comment to make a wider point instead of going after the guy who made the comment is stupid.
They'll basically try anything. They also like organize together attacks, which is something we're slowly finding.
We're working on something,
yeah. But like,
they're in
even
Discords, they're in chat rooms.
Just like you said, even this talking point of like, how come he's not suing Destiny but he's suing Ian?
It's a snark.
That's a snark talking point.
Yeah.
And look, I made the comment earlier of being like, you know, I just don't really believe that MoistCr1TiKaL wasn't aware of this stuff because he's just not online anymore. The last thing I would think about of MoistCr1TiKaL doing online is being in the snark forums, whatever. Like, it's so stupid. Like, they really just use snark for anything. It's truly their anti-Semite. The same way that Israel labels anybody who criticizes them as an anti-Semite. That's snark for them. I mean, Ethan literally wanted to label snark as a slur. So yeah, here's another one. Ethan denies having no smoke for Destiny, says that Moist is repeating snark talking points.
And yet Ethan doesn't have smoke for him, but he does for
and then that's another weird snark talking about that I don't have smoke for Destiny. I did this whole thing.
This whole thing started because
I did an entire episode dedicated to calling Destiny out, right? So again, Charlie, this is the snark talking point, and he's not doing this on purpose.
Yeah, he did that after Destiny was outed by Willie Max Show for possibly having CP. That's why, like, that whole thing of Willie Max Show being like, I was talking to Destiny and he admitted to me that he more than likely has like CSAM on his device, like in his files. And then that's what took Ethan come out and make this long ass fucking Instagram post of being like, Destiny, this isn't you. Trying to be like, you would think he was writing him like a love letter of being like, you can change, we can work this out. He even admits in that story post that he was aware of Destiny for a long time, going all the way back to like his gaming fit, whatever. Like, he admits in that story post that he's known about Destiny for a long time, but he continues to repeat the talking point of being like, I don't even know Destiny.
Purpose, right? But saying I don't have smoke for Destiny is just patently untrue, right? I mean, historic, it's just not what happened at all.
Then why aren't you going after him for defamation since he's the one who said it? Why are you going after Ian when he was only bringing it up to make a wider point? It's just, you know, it's not, the math ain't mathin'. And here's the thing, his defense for this is just that, well, Destiny was just messing around. He wasn't being serious. By the way, he was. Destiny has even said that he is serious when he calls Ethan a pedo.
Everything has to tie back to me And Hassan has had a lot of success in trying to tie people back to me. Like I said, I think this is why I call Ethan a pedophile all the time, who fucks his kids or whatever. It's because Ethan gave in, because he's a spineless fucking hack, to this type of attack where he's like, no, I'm not like Destiny. Destiny doesn't get me talking about.
But his whole thing is like, well, Destiny didn't mean it, even though he obviously does. But Ian bringing it up, even though he says that he doesn't agree with that, that's defamation. It's backward ass thinking. And the thing is that I believe Ian lives in Canada, because there was talk about Canadian lawyers being involved, and apparently defamation there is more lax. So like, at least in terms of like, it's probably easier to win in terms of defamation of like, you know, shit like that. I don't know. I don't know too much about like defamation laws and when it comes to Canada. I believe that might actually have been what led Ian to making the apology of being like, even if I do win, it's just gonna be a long, tedious case to go for. It would probably cost a lot of money just for how long it would take. But again, that's just me speculating.
Why would I respond to Destiny's like dumb, stupid accusation? You're absolutely right. Why would I respond to it? But all of a sudden, when it comes to Ian, he needs to respond to this, and I'm gonna make sure he has to respond.
Because you're trying to sue him. Because you're trying to sue him for this thing that the other guy said. Like, if you weren't going after this person, then, I mean, even if you weren't trying to sue him, it still wouldn't make sense. Why are you trying to attack the guy who is denouncing the thing that this other guy said that makes a terrible accusation towards you? Why are you going after this guy instead of the guy who made the accusation? Like, even if there was no legal bullshit tied to this, why are you still wasting time with Ian? And it's just because you don't like him. That's the thing. Because he is criticizing you, and Destiny is just saying this dumb shit, making up these accusations, but at least he's still kind of on your side. Because Destiny's co-host, Dan Saltman, is like one of the only few sponsors that Ethan has left when it comes to the podcast. That's it. Like, it's just so fucking backwards. I don't know. His defense for this shit is just so bad. That's the thing. And we have one more clip to bring up of essentially just the same thing. Ethan says it doesn't matter. Destiny is the one who accused him of being a pedo.
Ethan, of all people, should be very familiar with how defamatory lawsuits can be exploited by those with a lot of money. He was the guy that always fought on the right side of these kind of battles. And now in this case, I really think he's lost his way in that regard. What he is describing here is not even what IDubbz did. He's talking about, you can't make these comments, that's not free speech. Destiny made the comment, man. Literally.
I mean, this is just a fundamental not like gross and like, I mean, it's a huge just misunderstanding of how the defamation laws work. It doesn't matter that Destiny said it. He is the one that rebroadcast it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Destiny made the defamatory comment. It's Ian's fault for showing it on stream, despite, you know, not agreeing with it, despite denouncing it. Which, getting to that part,
it doesn't matter that Destiny said it. Ian's the one that rebroadcast it. Way bigger, without any context. Like scrolling text message from someone that I don't know at all. So yes, it is defamation or rebroadcast of a defamatory claim, right? Without you know, hedging it properly, or I don't know, disclosing it properly.
You know, like saying, "Hey, I don't agree with this. It's not true." Like, even by that logic, you're in the wrong. Either Ethan is just trying so hard to justify this, or he didn't even see the clip. And honestly, I think, you know, it's a little bit column A, a little bit column B. He knows that this is dumb, but he just wants to go through it to try to humiliate Ian. And I honestly don't think that he does any research into this stuff. I think he is incredibly lazy when it comes to going after these people. And the only reason he's able to get any sort of victories is because of his money. He's just a rich, stupid person who's able to get away with stuff because he has had a pretty successful career over the years, which has been steadily going downhill for the last few. So who knows, maybe at some point we'll get to the point where that, you know, that money starts to dry out and he just can't do this stuff anymore. It's just not financially feasible enough for him. But who knows? By that point, I feel like a lot of damage would already be done, that it wouldn't even matter. But hopefully with MoistCr1TiKaL calling him out, it results in him, you know, kind of going into the shadows a bit, slowing down in order to avoid public scrutiny. But we'll have to wait and see. It really just depends on whether his ego is bigger than his anger towards these people. Because if he starts getting a lot of eyes on him for this stuff, if he starts getting a lot of heat and hate to a degree that's bigger than he's gotten already from, you know, people on the left, then I don't think he'll be able to handle it. And I think he would try to do anything to salvage his career, but he might just be too far gone for that to even matter. It never gets better for him. That's the thing. And honestly, it doesn't make me happy because I've said this multiple times. My introduction to like Hassan and a lot of leftist content creators were through Ethan, through the Leftovers podcast. I was an H3 fan before all this. So as someone who was an H3 fan became a leftist through Leftovers, it's just so sad to see what Ethan has become. Looking back at a lot of his previous controversies, like before I started watching him, you could definitely see what could have led up to this. You know, there was probably always something boiling below the surface. I do honestly think that October 7th and the way that his community reacted post that, like the months following, really broke him. And instead of admitting that maybe, you know, what he was led to believe his entire life was wrong and that he should reevaluate it, along with his wife, he instead just decided to divulge into everyone's coming after me and I need to defend myself by any means, no matter how crazy it makes me look. But yeah, you know, hopefully with his added pressure, it'll cause him to step back and maybe even realize, hey, what I'm doing is wrong. Maybe I need to reevaluate what I'm doing, because essentially what his content is now is just, it's honestly just stalking. It really is just harassment. That's what the H in H3 stands for. It stands for harassment 3. That's H3 stands for harass Hassan heavily. But yeah, that's all I really gotta say. Who knows? Maybe in 6 months I'll make another one of these videos. We'll just have to wait and see.